What in the world is going on with the Paris Legion, and are we going to be able to get a first look at some of the new rosters heading into Black Ops Cold War tomorrow? All of that on the way, but first we want to start with when you're looking at the rosters as of late, who's going where. There's most teams have like one or two pieces left. When it comes to the Paris Legion, we know absolutely nothing. There was a rumor a couple weeks ago of maybe they would try to get Hydra, maybe they would try to get a couple of their old players back, but none of that has come to fruition. And as of late, the latest rumor is from CDL Intel, and it says the Paris Legion are completely lost and have no idea what they're doing. So I don't know what's going on with ownership there. I don't know if they had a plan in place that ended up getting shot down and they didn't end up securing the players that they thought that they might. I will say it's a little bit interesting to see some of the reactions across Twitter from some of the players that have been dropped from other rosters. Most notably, you get this tweet from Wuskin that says, "Sign me and my bro up free of charge, not asking for any money. I just got something to prove." This, I mean, I don't know how you go against. I can't believe that London got rid of Wuskins and Scraps. Looks like they wanted to go a different direction, but these guys obviously want to play super bad. If I'm out there and I don't really have anything lined up except for maybe an amateur squad, I don't know how you don't take a shot on these guys, especially how they played in the latter half of the season in Modern Warfare. They were super competitive right down to the very end. So this is kind of the first thing. Interesting tweet from Attach here. I do want to say this. He says, "Sheesh, I'll start my own franchise if I can get the twins for free." And that's how I feel, right? I mean, if you're going to get players like that off the rip and they're not even asking for anything, now obviously that's a little bit of an overstatement because you do have to pay them the league minimum. But yeah, I don't know how, unless you have something crazy going on behind the scenes, I don't know how Paris doesn't take advantage of even something like this. Some more reaction from around the league. Arcides, obviously former of the Chicago Huntsmen. He played a little bit with General when they were going through that kind of rough spot. But he says, "We demand Jordan General." And then Jordan replies to that says, "I appreciate the gas on the timeline, good sir. Hopefully we can battle on the main stage sometime in the future." Yeah, Jordan played well in that little bit of time when he was substituting for the Huntsmen. They weren't great, right? It was that in-between time when they got rid of Gunless, they brought in General, and he played okay. He was serviceable. It's not like I watched probably 90% of those scrims with him. And he was like a 0.9, 0.95, 1.0 player somewhere in there. I do think they were far better off once they did finally secure Pristini. But yeah, he's definitely a serviceable pro. With everybody that's been dropped, though, heading into Black Ops Cold War, I'm not really quite sure if there's a spot for him out there, but you never know. I will say that one person that is making a run at this, which I'm sure you're aware of or you'd expect, would be Parasite. He says, "Bonjour, my name is Chris, and Parasite Legion has a nice ring to it. Sign me up and I'll build a competitive top-tier team of passionate players with the hunger to succeed. I know Call of Duty in this community better than anyone." So he's making his run at it. Even on this tweet from Wuskin, if you scroll down just a tiny bit, you can see that he's trying to persuade Wuskins to play with them too, that they could be a nasty trio. I mean, you can't fault the guy for trying, right? Basically, every one of these threads, he is in there. He's really trying to be a part of a franchise, but sometimes your past speaks for itself, and it's really hard to change what's out there about you. So yeah, I don't know what Paris is doing, but it does seem like they have some options. This is the last that we knew. Obviously, this tweet is from CDL Intel also. This is a couple weeks ago now, but they were asking about maybe they bring back Zed, maybe they bring back Dens. Does Hydra end up going there? It seems as though Hydra might be going to the Subliners or a couple other of those teams that do have some openings because his name has been coming up a ton. So who knows what Paris ends up doing, but I do think there are some options out there. We'll see if they're exploring those options or kind of what they're doing there, but we'll see. That's one of the biggest question marks in the league right now, right? What does Paris do? What does Seattle do? What does LAG do? Even though they're kind of rumored to get that World War II champ squad over at LAG of, you see it right here, Apathy, Silly, and Assault. So bunch of question marks out there still. It's not like anybody's in a super rush now, right? The biggest squads have announced who their signings are going to be. So now the rest of the teams can kind of take their time, make sure that they're building the right roster for them, and then move forward once they get them. With that being said, moving on, there is a pretty awesome tournament tomorrow. So this is in cooperation with Hitch and CMG. They're putting out a $5,000 tournament. That is a Black Ops 4 throwback tournament. And look at some of the teams here. So again, this is what I think is kind of interesting. Look at this first squad of Arsity, Simp, Abizi, and Pristini. Kind of a throwback EU squad, but also our first chance to look at the communication, the teamwork between Arsity, Simp, and Abizi. We all know Arsity's went over to the Atlanta FaZe, so kind of our first opportunity to see these guys together. They're going up against those three that are rumored to be together on the London Royal Ravens, Dylan, Alex, and Sean. So we'll get to see another look at that squad. Another thing that's kind of interesting, you can see that the 8th seed right here, Assault, Silly, Godarex, and Exceed, that's the old one of, or at least pieces and parts of the old Minnesota Rocker squad. After this was announced, and it wasn't too far after this, Godarex said that he might have been replaced, so that would be kind of rough, right? Godarex being replaced from this tournament squad by his old teammates that dropped him during the Modern Warfare season. Not quite sure what's going on there. But you can see Brack and Proto are together here as the 9th seed. Not too much that we know about the 4th seed. Pamaj is in this. Kismet, General, Royalty, and Gunless. That's an interesting squad. I'll be interested to see how Gunless plays. I know that it's on Black Ops 4. It's not exactly on Black Ops Cold War, but still, you always want to see how these guys are playing. Temp, Slacked, Saints, and TJ. Scump is playing with Envoy and Mox. So again, kind of the SMG duo there from Chicago. And as you go through, Standy, Pentagram from the amateur squad. There's not too many more names here. Kenny, Octane, Mental, and Enable. That'll be an interesting squad. I would expect them to go pretty far in this, especially since starting off here, there's not really much on their bottom side of the bracket. Parasites playing as the 6th seed, and then the 11th seed, Illy, Huke, Shotzi, and Dashy. So we'll get to see those 3 young guns from the Dallas Empire team up with Dashy and see what happens there. So if you're not doing anything, make sure you go check out this tournament. I think it'll be pretty dope to see at least a little bit of combinations from what's been rumored out there inside of free agency and from the players that teams have already signed. As I'm looking at this, I think the biggest storylines here is what happens with Kenny, Octane, Mental, and Enable. I really want to see that matchup. I also want to see one of the biggest ones was Dylan, Alex, and Shawnee. How do they end up playing together? Will they give that God squad of Arsity, Simp, Abizi a run for their money? I don't know. It's just a bunch of cool storylines, and what else are we going to do, right? The game doesn't come out for a couple months when we're talking about Black Ops Cold War, so something to fill the time, maybe something to break down if we see who ends up making it to the championship or whatever. But with that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you guys have any comments on what's going on with Paris, make sure you put it down below. Anything about who you think is going to win this tournament, also put that down below. I kind of have who I think my sneaky suspicions might be, but maybe we'll put it in the comments after I see what you guys have to say. But if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all the support as of late. Super, super appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Any comments, put them down below. Leave a like. It always helps out the channel. Thank you guys. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.